Welcome to my cake kitchen. I'm Gladys, and today we're making 3 different cupcakes from the same base batter. Yes, you heard right. We're making a jammy doja, a chocolate cupcake, and a Oreo cupcake, all from the same batter. The thing I love about this recipe though is that it derives amazing cupcakes in less the time it will take to make all these cupcakes separately, and more importantly, there's less washing up to do. I know that is an exciting prospect to consider, especially when it comes to baking and washing up. So let's jump right into it. Now let's face it, the idea or the concept of a base batter deriving assorted cupcakes is not new, and I'm not even trying to pretend I am reinventing the wheel. However, the whole idea, I have some qualms about which I will be discussing, and also I'll be telling you how I have optimized my recipe to kind of give you your best outcome. So over here we start with caster sugar, which you can genuinely replace with granulated sugar if you don't have access to caster sugar. I mean, it's a cupcake, you can't go wrong with that. For my base fat, I am using margarine. Again, this recipe is adaptable, so you can replace the margarine with butter or some parts of butter and oil. It'll be fine. I'll leave some information in the description box for you. We have flour here. Now it's important to note here that the flour I'm using is parts self-raising flour and parts plain flour. There's about 150 grams of self-raising and 300 grams of plain flour. Let's move on. There is eggs here. The eggs are deshelled, and I measure them from when they are taken out of the shell, not with the shell. I think there is about 250 grams here, but I will leave information in the description box. Also, there is cocoa powder paste. Now, because we're deriving some chocolate cupcakes, it's important to note that some of the things that I have said I don't like about a base batter deriving different recipes or different cupcakes is simply because it leaves room for sometimes some of the recipes or cupcakes that are derived from the base recipe to come short. For instance, translating a basic vanilla cupcake to a red velvet cake might just sell the red velvet short because it takes away the sort of tang, because naturally vanilla cupcake doesn't come with elements that enhances tartness and tang, something that you need in red velvet. So I say all that to say it's important to find a recipe that will turn around into different things but maintaining their core qualities. And so changing a vanilla cake into a chocolate cupcake does take a bit of effort, and I don't want to lose some of the properties of a good chocolate cake. So I've just created a base paste here, and I will show you what I will be using that for. And now we have some crushed Oreo cookies here. We have some jammy dodgers. If you don't know what jammy dodgers are, they are just a British classic biscuit that is made from some shortcake cookies filled with some jam in here. They are very British, but I don't know, wherever you are on your side of the world, you can replace jammy dodgers with any cookie base of your choice, and that will be fine. So we have the chocolate paste, we have jammy dodgers, some cookies, and essentially the rest of our ingredients. Of course, we have some vanilla. More importantly, our flour does have some salt in here. Anything between 5 to 7 grams will be fine. Salt brings taste, complexity, and enhances mouthfeel for your cake. So that's all the ingredients done. Let's go and preheat our oven to 160 degrees C, but I'll be reducing this when we come to baking the cupcakes. Before we start with our batter, we have 24 cupcake liners set in 2 cupcake trays here. I have some extra cupcake liners here. That makes for 30. The quantity here yields anything between 24 to 28 cupcakes, but I am always prepared for my worst case scenario. So more or less, we don't know. We'll see how the batter pans out. Now, for the cupcakes themselves, we are going to have some jammy dodgers at the base of the jammy dodger cupcakes, and we're going to have Oreos crushed into the batter of the Oreo cupcakes, topped with Oreo buttercream and a chunky Oreo sitting on top. And the chocolate is going to be a humble chocolate cupcake with a chocolate topping and some drizzle of chocolate pieces on there. Let's just put this away and then get our mixer here. For convenience, I am employing the use of my stand mixer, but for the quantity of ingredients we have, you can surely use a hand mixer. That will yield you some great results. I have my stand mixer here, which is the Kenwood K-Mix. I'm using a paddle attachment, and into that we are going to have our fat, which is the margarine base that goes in first. You want to make sure that your ingredients are certainly at room temperature. It will mix well. And the thing about deriving a cupcake that sometimes is missed is also about timing and controlling the time everything is mixed together, because if you overmix it, it will make for a lightly textured cupcake, but it will also overflow the lips of the liners and make for a less than great outcome for you. The sugar is gone in. We pour our vanilla with a lot of love over here, but of course in the recipe there is 2 tablespoonfuls of vanilla for you to use. I'm just going to cream this for just 2 minutes. 2 minutes in and we have a very light textured mix here, because obviously I had my margarine at room temperature. It is very soft and it is melting pretty quickly because of the mix. I'm going to add the eggs a little slowly whilst I'm at it, like slowly, just so that it will support the structure of a good crumb, right? I'll let that mix on slow, and then I'm going to turn this up and let it mix again for about a minute before we start adding the other ingredients. Our eggs is mixed all in now, because what I don't want to do is overbeat or over whip this. Now it's time to add the flour. The recommendation is always to alternate your dry ingredients with the wet ingredient. Let's get in there with half the quantity of flour here, and then I'm just going to turn this on fold. I have a fold function, which means it can mix the flour in a little slowly. But if you don't have that, or if you're using a hand mixer, please feel free to use your hand at this point, because if you're using a hand mixer, the speed control can be a little bit off, which might end up over mixing your flour, and you don't want that at all. We have the rest of the flour, and that's all our ingredients done. Just when you see a little bit of flour floating on top, that's it, you're done. So we're going to have to do some more mixing. You don't want to over mix it at this point. So there you go. Now we just want to mix our butter, turn it, make sure you don't have eggs settling on the bottom, but as soon as you see everything uniformly mixed, that's it. Okay, let's go and separate the thing and see. I've got 2 bowls. Oh God, I'm not about to get a scale to do this. So what we are actually going to do is eyeball this, which kind of defeats the means, but hey, be a little risky in the kitchen for better results. Okay, so we have 3 parts of batter for 3 different things. We're starting with the Oreo, which will simply just have the Oreo mixed in. Here you go. Because of the creme fraiche that has been added, even though we are adding crusty bits into the batter, it should still yield us a very moist, delicate and fresh tasting cupcake. That's the Oreo done. The vanilla will remain the same, just so that we can get it into our Jammie dodgers. Now let's do the chocolate ones here. Chocolate cupcakes still have to taste great, so that they are not crumbly and dry, which is why I derived the paste first. So we need a scoop, maybe start with 2 tablespoonfuls, right? Because if I were to dump just cocoa powder in here, that will be very problematic to mix. So what I have done is I've just had a scoop in there, which I am literally mixing the paste into the batter so I don't overmix it, because I'm spreading it wide. Here's what we've got. Look how easy it came together. I'm going to employ that to mix this all together, and suddenly we have our chocolate batter. So let's go and section this into our cupcake trays, see how many we yield in terms of number, and let it bake for 18 to 22 minutes at 150 degrees C. I'll be putting a tray of water at the base of the oven, just so that it forms a steady steamy heat that will help yield me great results. Check on our cupcakes, see how they are faring. Ooh! Am I a crazy baker for always being super excited about the yield of my cake and cupcakes? Okay. Moments of truth. Let's find out for ourselves what they look like. Yeah, you know, I like my cupcakes like this. Hot, warm, nice. Well, even if it's hot, let's check what the crumb looks like before we let them chill. So, moment of truth. I told you. Look, I told you. Let's try it. This is good. I'll give it a thumbs up. Now, okay, let's try an Oreo. Oh, look. Oh, the flavors come through. Now let's go for the Jammie. Okay, look. So you have a base cookie, which is a surprise. Oh, I better be careful so this doesn't burn my mouth. The word is, I will never lead you astray, okay? And this right here, it's everything you need.